Hey guys, and welcome to the J and K Show. This is your Tuesday edition. We're going to recap Monday Night Football. We're going to address some things that were being said. We will also give you our top 5 teams this week, so stay tuned. Hi, Jay. I'm going to obviously have to address all of the people right off the bat. Bucks
Yeah.
Lions. If you watch the whole video, me and Jay both picked the Lions to win the game, and we were so emphatic about it. Michigan.
Michigan love.
I'm not a Lions hater. I'm a Lions lover. I love the Lions. If my Colts
Mm-hmm.
didn't win, I would be loving to see the Lions win. So I'm not a
Absolutely.
Lions hater at all. Not only that, but I thought they were so projected to win the game because of how everything was laying, because of what happened with the Chiefs, because of the Bucks injuries. I said that they have no business losing, or AKA the Tampa Bay have no business winning the game. And that
Yeah.
if they had won, if Baker Mayfield were to play well, which he's been throwing 2 or 3 touchdowns almost every game, he's played well. If he went into Detroit, if he wins the game, if he plays well, then he is the clear-cut MVP in week 7. That's not even me saying he's the MVP for the whole year. That means that I think at that point there would have been distance between him and everyone else. But that did not happen, and that's fine. People want me to eat my words and this. I don't know how to do that because I picked the Lions to win.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to address it than that, Jay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just stuff that was taken out of context. And, if you want to sit there and try to see what the overall message is first before you take a
Yeah.
clip and say, okay, these guys are hating on Detroit for no reason. No, you got to see the clip at its entirety. Even if you go to the big show, take out that little highlight, go to your Detroit versus Tampa Bay stuff, watch it and you'll see the whole time. We were saying if Baker is able to go up and still win the game at Detroit, which I don't think anybody had Tampa winning because
No.
Detroit was just going to be on a warpath last
That
night.
was the point, right? That we were making.
Yeah.
The point
Yeah.
was
Yeah. Yeah.
they should not win.
No, they had no business winning. I don't think it could have been anyone. It could have been a rematch with the Chiefs.
Mhm.
I think they would have beat Kansas City last night. I mean, they were that motivated, it seemed like, and those blue and black uniforms were gorgeous. I told
They
you a
were.
couple times that so beautiful. I wish they could wear those every damn week because I am a big fan of that blue and black combination. And they were handing out some blue and black last night. They were playing hell or aggressive on defense,
Yeah.
and just Tampa couldn't do anything. They made Baker look mediocre last night. So as far as all the MVP talk, did Baker's value take a hit? Of course. He did not play very well last night. His throws were off. He wasn't having a Baker game like we're used to seeing him have so far this year. Evans goes out too. Ibuka plays, but he's not really effective. So you got to see. I mean, they have to take a step back now and kind of evaluate where they are and what they need to do from here on out because Detroit figured them out and
Yeah.
they could not do anything. Detroit now has tape on what you can do to stop Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So now they got to refigure it out, and it's good. I'm sure they will, and they can, but it's going to be interesting to see, how potent Baker can be for the rest of the year now.
Yeah. And a lot of guys on there were talking about, well, the Lions secondary was so bad. Hey, I'm not going to knock the secondary. They had Rock
Mm-mm.
Ya-Sin out there playing well. He does get a little banged up for a moment. But
Mm-hmm.
from what I saw, because obviously I'm not this Lions enthusiast, so I don't know their depth in the secondary exactly. But they look like they are playing very well. I don't understand how we could say, oh, that was the JV secondary. And it's like, yeah, but every time Baker threw the ball, there was a secondary player on
Mm-hmm.
their receiver. So, like,
Yeah.
they were playing well. Like, we can't credit backups for playing well when you see them play well. We just automatically go,
Yeah.
that they're backups. Like, how disrespectful is that? You call yourself a Lions fan? Like, these are guys that are in depth. When we talk about the Colts, we're like, Mekhi Blackman is playing good football, even though he's a fifth
Yeah.
string. Like, he's playing good football. We don't sit there and go, we beat them even though we have a bad secondary. They suck. And it's like, wait a minute, you're dogging your own team. That doesn't make any
That is
sense.
not. That is not a bad secondary. I would take half of those guys right now.
Yeah, and the front
And they
seven
would be
was awesome.
starters on other teams. It's amazing how they performed.
When
And
someone when someone says they're missing half their defense or secondary, it's like, well, wait a minute. 7 out of 11 is more than half, and their front seven was awesome.
Yeah.
I don't get the math that people are mathing at all.
Yeah. Well, your front seven can make your secondary
Yes.
look a lot better than what they actually
Yes.
are.
And I think that's what
But
happened to some degree. Yeah.
yeah, you can say that, sure, and you wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think it was a dual effort, really. I mean, those guys were they were just all on the ball. They were meeting at the receivers. They were, what a hell of an interception.
Yeah.
There, his name's eluding me, like Hewlett or something like that.
Holland or
Mueller,
something like that.
Mollet, yeah, Mollet. And that was amazing, an amazing play. So you can't just say, well, the front seven is a lot better than the secondary. That might be true, but I think Kelvin Shepard last night made his name famous.
Coached his
because he had those guys ready to go. He was aggressive. He was celebrating and jumping around and that dude is yoked.
He's jacked.
He is jacked. So it looked like he could have gone out there and played a couple snaps too. So
I really think so.
You gotta start worrying if you're Detroit. It's like, oh my God, are we gonna lose another coordinator to a head coaching job? Because he may have put his name on a resume last night just by that performance. So it may be still a little too early to say he's head coach material, but his name is now definitely on radars.
Yep, I agree. The quick touchdown, we were watching it together, and I mean, that was kind of like, damn, that took like no time at all.
None.
To have one of the best connections in football just go off. And of course, Gibbs later on, he explodes and has himself a hell of a game. I think the Bucks, you watch Mike Evans, I told you, I said he broke his collarbone before they even said anything. I felt it, the way he landed, the way his arm looked after, the way he kind of was wincing and moving it. I was like, yeah, he just broke his collarbone. That hurts. For Baker, you saw him stare for a minute, like the Steph Curry stare on Klay Thompson. You know what I mean? You saw that stare of just like, damn, like
what do I gotta
I've had
do
him for a quarter? Like that's a hard hit. So I'm not gonna sit here and dog Baker. He overthrew a lot of balls. He felt pressure from their front seven. He did not play well. He had a bad game, and that is a fact. And he moves down my list of MVP some, and that's fine. He had a bad game. But we have to take in the emotional side of, it was a big game. They're coming in, ready to play. They're getting guys back. They're probably juiced up. One of the reasons they are juiced is probably because of Mike Evans being back for the first time, and then he goes down. And I just think that really took the air out for them. Was it Dez? I can't ever remember his last. Thomas Dez, their receiver, Williams.
Oh, Tez Johnson.
Tez Johnson.
Yeah.
Tez Johnson, he makes a great play to kind of get it close. But at no point in that game, even before and during, did I think that Detroit was going to lose. Like, they were always in control. From prediction to the game, to the middle of the game, at no point did I think they would lose.
Yeah, there were points where they were playing extremely sloppy.
Yeah.
But when they were on, and you couldn't stop them. I was almost like, just first and second down, just hand the ball off to Gibbs. Just do it. And then, that will probably get you where you need to be, get third and manageable and everything. But, Goff was uncharacteristically, I think, rushy kind of last night. Yeah. The Bucks were kind of getting pressure on him a little bit. He was a little uncomfortable at times, but just some throws that he made were just not him. He still had a pretty good night, but it's unlike him to have multiple turnovers. But it just seemed like some throws were being rushed, and maybe he was targeting St. Brown a little too much. And, Jamison Williams didn't even have a catch. So that stat to me is crazy. Yeah, well, I could see why the flag was thrown there, but it was like it didn't really extend too far, but
the problem
I could see why they threw it.
At the time was there was an absolute hold on Amon-Ra St. Brown on the other side that they threw a flag for, and then they just pick it up and only penalize J-Mo. And I was like, wait a minute.
My guess should have been at least offsetting.
How does it suddenly Dean didn't foul Amon-Ra? He absolutely did. He grabbed him right in the collarbone area and was pulling on him. I'm like, how?
Yep.
What did you see to change your mind on that particular flag?
Yeah,
Like
who
that didn't
knows?
make any sense. I was like, this should have offset, and like, but
Yeah.
it's fine. The Lions, regardless of mistakes, regardless of some sloppy second or third down plays and what they had going on. Regardless of any of that, their defense was awesome just about the
Mhm.
entire game. At least
Yeah.
95% of the game, they were awesome. And they had room to give, like on offense, the mistakes and everything. They had time for error because they were playing so good on the other side of the ball. Kudos to the Lions. Like we've had them as like our number one power ranking for a couple weeks now,
Yeah. Yeah.
here or there. So yeah, we're Lion fans.
They're still going to be tough, man. So, watch out for them. They seem to be properly motivated now, and it doesn't matter who in the hell they have out there on defense. They're going to put pressure on you, it seems. So they're again, I mean, they did the same thing last year. They had a bunch of guys out on IR off the
Yeah,
defensive side of the ball, and they still played pretty good going
yeah,
down the stretch.
yeah,
So it looks like they're doing it all over again. They reloaded again,
yeah.
and Kelvin Shepherd seems like he's the right guy. So they made an excellent promotion within right there.
Yeah, that was good. And I think both front sevens were good. To your credit with the Goff comment, it's like, yeah, they both were sacked 4 times. So like
Yeah.
the front seven was getting there. It was making quarterbacks uncomfortable. So I don't think
Mm-hmm.
you saw either one of the quarterbacks best by any standard. Now, if this was
Yeah.
an NFC preliminary championship game, unfortunately, the defenses wrecked enough that maybe it
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be as good of an NFC game as you might like to see. But I still enjoyed the game. I
Yeah.
think that fully healthy, the game would have had more of a dramatic finish. We
Yeah.
can knock Baker all we want, but the fact of the matter is he's been without one of his running backs that they threw 75 balls to last year. And they also have Mike Evans. People are calling Ibuka the one. How are you calling Ibuka the number one when he's because of injury? Like, can you honestly tell me that Mike Evans on his 12th consecutive 1,000-yard, he was going for it? You got Chris Godwin. You're honestly telling me with Ibuka as a rookie that those three guys were going to play and that Ibuka would still automatically be leading in receiving and be their number one if none of them have ever been injured? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to buy that. And that's not to knock Ibuka. But those guys
Yeah.
are way too good, have too much rapport with Baker from last season to sit there and knock them and be like, yeah, Ibuka's their number one. Well, yeah, they're not playing. He's their
Yeah. Yeah.
three, and he's their one now, and he's their one of the future. But to sit there
Yeah.
and knock those guys for being injured, like, no, they're down two guys and their running back. They're
Yeah.
playing with third string guys on every play on offense. Like, come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. You can't say that if Mike Evans and Godwin are both healthy week one that he may still have this same stat line,
Maybe.
but he wouldn't be in their offense. He definitely would not be the number one going into it.
Mm-mm.
But
Now you're
right
saying
now
now,
he is the
hindsight,
one. Yeah, right now he is the one. But then again, would you say that Sterling Shepard's the two, or would
hey,
you say that Tez Johnson is the number two? Because he's coming up too. Tez Johnson's making plays,
no
but
offense. How many teams would those two guys start for? Like, come on. Like, we need to give it credit where it's due. Like, Baker's played well.
yeah,
He was throwing to
yeah.
Cameron Johnson and Tez Johnson and we'll just throw
Magic
in some Duke.
Johnson doesn't
We'll
matter.
throw in some Duke Johnson and some Brad Johnson. Like, get all the
Yeah.
Bucks out there. Fuck it. I
Ooh,
don't know.
Brad Johnson. Oof.
I'm just
I don't know
saying.
about
Like,
that.
that's important. That is definitely important.
Yeah, it is important. You have to be able to think rationally
Yeah.
about stuff like that. And you can say Ibuka now is the one,
Yeah.
and you'd be 100% correct.
Yeah.
But if Mike Evans and Godwin are both healthy, he's not a one right now.
What does
So,
his trajectory look like with two healthy veterans? We wouldn't be sure.
hmm
You know, it
yeah,
would have honestly stunted his growth, possibly, and we wouldn't be talking about Ibuka being the one probably at this moment, and it might still be
hmm
weeks away after he had 2 or 3 games in a row of flashing because of strategy and game management and everything, and they're taking Evans
hmm
away. Like, how much better could Ibuka's stat line be at times if he just had other weapons? Like what happened
yeah,
last night with Ibuka? I think the Lions were like, no. I mean, they
hmm
were bro. You're not going to go
yeah.
there. I mean, you can go somewhere else, but we're not
You go
stupid.
somewhere else. Yeah, this place is closed. You
Yeah,
go over
yeah.
there.
You go over there. I thought that the Cade Otton catch that was an interception, I don't like it how subjective that was, because in real time I was like, oh, they both got it. Tie goes the offense. And then they
Yeah, that's what I
decided
thought.
after looking at it,
Yeah.
he kind of doesn't have it. It's on his shoulder a little. And I'm like,
Great, yeah. Give
great.
ESPN credit for having that great angle, though. It was 100% spot on. He did not have that ball going down to the ground. It was to his chest, but he had his thumb on the side of the ball.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to start calling him Mullet. He just had the ball and he had possession. And it was his. There was no way you could sit there and look at that and say, yeah, Cade Otton still had possession. They both had possession. Nope. The defender's ball all day long. And I would have told you real time, I would have agreed with you. I would have said,
Yes.
yeah, it's a tie ball, jump ball goes to the offense
Yep.
every single time. But when they slowed it down and they showed that angle, it's like, I had to give ESPN a lot of credit. It's like, you guys had the perfect shot to show that. And it's like, you can't deny it now. That's Detroit ball, and I was like, wow, are they just banding together? That was a unit last night. It was a damn unit. And if you're a deep fan of football, if you've ever played, whether it was back in the day or whatever, you like seeing shit like that, because it was like, those guys were on the same page. They were all playing with one beating heart, you know what I mean? And it's the shit you love to see. It was great. Fired up, man.
Yeah, it was a good game. And I guess for the tie thing, I just kind of was like, damn, if that's not going to be subjective, like, it worries me. Like, when you see it in real time, you're like, oh yeah, they kind of both had the ball. And then you slow it down.
Yeah.
I'm like, it really gives the refs the opportunity to decide, well, who has it more. I didn't realize subjectively that we would look at those plays and decide that. To your credit, I actually agree. I do think the defender had the ball more or sooner than Otton.
Yeah.
So I feel like the call was right. But it does give me this little in my chest kind of worry that in a different circumstance, different teams, that the play call could be a little bit wrong, but I think they got it right last night. To their credit,
they did get
it was
right.
a good shot, and it shows Otton's on the shoulder. He don't have it the way the other guys got it right. I mean, that's fair. It was a fairly called play. Just
very
worries
good.
me for the future.
Yeah, it could be one of those. Well, you remember Week 7 in Detroit when was it Robertson or Mullet? I was Mullet.
Mullet and Otton.
Yeah, well, you remember when that happened in Week 7, and either in the playoffs or in one of the last weeks of the season, something like that is going to happen where somebody's in contention for a playoff spot or a division, and it's going to be called the other way, and you're going to be like, well, wait a fucking minute.
I even think it could be a playoff game, like a divisional round game or something. Like, it worries me. It just does.
Yeah, there's always callbacks.
Maybe I'm pessimistic and all that. Maybe that's it. But it's just one of those things.
Yeah, you're very pessimistic.
Moving on to the next game. Houston and Seattle. Houston really didn't feel like they were ever in this game, man.
That's what I did when Houston was on offense last night.
Yeah, they actually did get in the game for a second, but Seattle's defense, man, they're just so damn good. Take that defense into the bye week. Take them out for some barbecue. Like, that team is fucking good, man.
Yeah, feed them fat boys. They earned it, man. Leonard Williams, holy shit.
Jets are crying right now. Was it?
Oh my God!
Did he play for the Jets and Giants?
I believe so. Yeah. And then also DeMarcus Lawrence is there too.
What?
Man. Oh, they have got
time.
Holy hell, man. Their front four, it might be the best in the league. I mean, it very well could be. They have so much talented beef up there, man, and they are not fucking around. You can just rush 4 and be satisfied with the results. I mean, they don't have to blitz.
It's downright unfair to send 5 or 6. That is not a fair thing to do to somebody.
No, it's not. And McDonald, he's probably just sitting there. He's got to be one of the happiest coaches ever, that he has those guys on his team. Because, man, when he was at Michigan too, he had he had toys to play with, and that
Mhm.
their defense was amazing. And now he's doing the same thing in Seattle with those guys. He's got even better. And Seattle is going to be tough, man. Tough.
They're going
I
to be
mean,
a
they
tough
don't have to
out.
score.
They're going to be in danger of winning a game a little ugly. And you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna just like not credit them. You're not gonna give them their credit
Yeah.
they deserve. But they're gonna
Yeah.
probably beat someone ugly, and you're gonna be like, "Oh man, what the hell happened?"
Yeah. You as snoozy as Houston played last night on offense, Seattle was borderline anemic, man. 4 turnovers, that's not like them.
Both
But when you
games were
have that
kind of.
defense, yeah, when you have their defense, you can afford to go 3 and out a couple times, or have a couple turnovers, and you
Mhm,
can take some chances whether you win or lose the gamble.
mhm,
But you feel more comfortable. Hey, I'm going to take a deep shot here because if I throw an interception, my defense is going to come in and they're not going to allow any points.
mhm.
So I mean that gives you a little bit more confidence in your arm there if you're Sam Darnold, that hey, I can just let it fly, and if it gets tipped and intercepted, then hey, so be it. My defense will come in here and they'll eat like kings for a couple plays.
Yeah.
So and that's what they did last night. I mean, they couldn't. Houston was on a little bit of a roll too. They were coming off a bye. They had two wins, two big blowout wins back to back, and then you had anytime you go into Seattle, especially in a primetime game, that crowd, it's going to be rough. And yeah, CJ did not play his best ball last night, but it's hard to play good ball in Seattle, especially if you haven't been there before.
I thought that they got the call right. The safety, I felt like he was being pushed backwards by the defender, which
Mm-hmm.
for progress, I thought they got it right. They were talking about how it
Mm-hmm.
should be a safety. I'm like, I don't see it that way. You're shoving a guy back. He's trying to fight away from you. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, so if he gives you any amount of effort, 10% effort to get away, you're going to try
Yeah.
to say that he can be pushed back 5 yards into the. I just disagreed. People were kind of on there talking about it, and that was the
Yeah.
correct call to not call a safety. I thought.
Yeah. I the description of it was a little long winded.
Yes.
But I could have seen them saying what the call on the field too, with the safety and everything. But it's like, well, that seems to be they went around describing it a little winded. That's all I was saying. It's like, okay, nobody's following this. Okay, so you want to just give it to them there at the 10, whatever? Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and do that. It's just like let's just get back to playing ball. That was a God. It was a 5 minute break.
Yeah, it was a long
Just
break.
come on. I was already fighting off sleep.
Shout out to Autry, our former
Shout
bud
out.
with the field goal block. He's still out there doing things for him.
The old man still got it, man. He
And
still
also
got it.
has EJ Speed. Shout out to EJ Speed, former Colt.
Yeah, yeah. Benedict Arnold.
I loved the Smith and Jigba dunk. I'm disappointed that it was a penalty because
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
so
thought at first, now when they threw the penalty, I thought, did he hit the ref with the ball? Did he
like
kick him?
tackled him. That's what I thought
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So it's like, why is that a penalty? And it's like, oh yeah, you can't use damn shit as props. I forgot. And they're just
Yeah.
like, let these guys fucking
That
celebrate
was
for
so
God's
cool,
sake.
man. Like that was
It was
so cool.
good. It's like, man, he's got some ups. So it's
Like
like,
that
yeah,
was
it's pretty impressive.
when you see a guy like catch a ball and get a touchdown, for him to just in stride just kind of jump up and dunk it, it was just really cool. Other guys,
Yeah.
they'll sit there and they'll be like, "Oh, here we go," and they'll get all riled up and ready, and then they'll go and do it. It loses a little bit of its ish, but like
Yeah.
Smith and Jigba in stride, he was just like, yeah, and he just went for the dunk, and it just felt so pure of joy,
Mm-hmm.
pure of fun, pure of excitement and
Yeah.
enthusiasm, and I liked it. And
Mm-hmm.
immediately that guy throws his flag. I'm like, you didn't even get dunked on, bro. Like, let it go.
Yeah. Friggin' Kim Judge Un couldn't have anybody having fun, and
Hmm.
a lot of the times you see guys catch touchdowns like that. They run out of leg and then they just have to throw up kind of like a little lame ass John Stockton layup. But that was pretty nice. He had some ups. Well, he's an athletic dude, but to the refs' credit, later on in the game, they actually did come and save him from the gang rush on the
Wow,
bench.
it was like, no. He was like, don't do it.
So it was
Let's
good
lock
for them
it.
to come back and be like, well, you know what? Even though we threw a flag on you, we're still going to look out for you. So,
Yeah,
kudos to that ref for doing what he did.
yeah. The Cooper Cup pass that he shouldn't pass. He just flat missed it.
Yeah,
I
that
started
was bad.
laughing. I thought I got excited, and then I just saw when the ball got thrown. I was like, "And you missed him by at least this much, like totally away." And I was, "Why can't I play quarterback?" That's why, stupid. Sit down, wide receiver. To his
Yeah, that's why
credit,
you catch the stuff, bud.
when you go a few weeks ago, we were talking about it. Every one of these fucking guys probably played QB for their high school team because they were the best player on the whole damn team.
They're the
So
most athletic one, yeah.
he probably played some QB, but it's been a while.
Mm-hmm. Got a little rust on that shoulder. But yeah, it's okay. Cooper Cup needs to be running routes, not throwing the ball. I mean, yeah, let's not do that. You know,
Yeah.
just stop.
The last thing I wanted to note on was for Seattle. I don't know if this is just how good their defense is or how
Mm-hmm.
bad the Houston offense can be. But Seattle had 4 turnovers to
Yep.
Houston's 1.
Yeah.
So for them to win by double digits comfortably and 4-1, that's really uncommon. Usually you lose a game
Yeah.
when you got that many, 4-1.
Yeah.
Kudos to Seattle. I think their defense is going to be able to keep them in every single game.
Yeah. And the only touchdown they got was on defense, right?
No,
They
well,
didn't
Smith and
score a
Jigba.
touchdown on offense, did they? No, I'm talking
Oh,
Houston.
Houston.
Houston didn't get an offensive touchdown,
Yeah,
did they?
I don't think they did. Who would have got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't
No,
think
well, C.J.
anybody on
Stroud
them.
threw a touchdown to somebody. Was it
Oh,
Noel
okay.
or
Oh,
Schultz?
yeah, he did get one. I forgot. I didn't see that. Well, it shows how much I fucking know, huh?
Yeah.
If you can't tell, I went to bed a little bit early because that was still on at freaking 12:30. So, um,
Shame.
I know, terrible journalist. I get it,
I was
but
arguing with a bunch of people till late last night.
yeah, I know. But I tried to get on there and defend a little bit of honor this morning. But by the time I got in, I was like, "Wow, what in the fuck happened?" I was like,
Yeah.
wow, we're under fire."
Their running back Woody Marks got the touchdown.
What Woody? Yeah, that's right.
I think
That's
that
right.
was a garbage time one late in the game.
Yeah. Well, and when time mattered,
Yes.
they only scored on defense, but it was ugly. I mean, it was both games were a little sloppy, but they were also one side dominant. But it could have been like, especially the Detroit game. That you come out of that thinking more like they won more 42-9 than they did 24-9. You would have thought that Detroit, especially with the way it started, they were going to put up 40 easy, but didn't happen. Same way with Seattle. You'd have thought, shit, they're going to put up a lot of points, but they just didn't.
Yep. I think obviously Seattle's run game and Darnold will be the deciding factor down the line. If Darnold can play a clean game, he obviously can score you points. That's not the issue. It's like, well, will he have a turnover, maybe a fumble or an interception into that kind of deal? And then like, will they run the ball well enough? Which they're going to need probably at least 80 or 90 yards rushing in games to kind of just keep the defense honest. So, those will be the things they got to work on. Their defense is awesome. Just making sure their offense is got enough momentum and rhythm in games, and then they'll be fine.
Absolutely.
All right.
Now, I just want to know one thing about them, and then I'll leave it alone. What in the hell happened to Kenneth Walker? Charbonnet has always been an excellent backup, and he's been good when he's been on the field. So I understand wanting to use him a little bit more, but man, when he was getting touches, like Walker couldn't do anything. So it's like I'm like, what's going on with him? Oh, that's then no way is that biased because I have him in fantasy, but yeah. But it's like, with Seattle, where in the hell's he at? He's such a versatile guy, it's like you want him.
I don't really know. I think they're just kind of going almost complete split at this point now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with them being 50-50, I mean, Charbonnet, he's been fine. Give him his touches. He deserves it and he's earned it. But it's just, man, it seems like Kenneth Walker's disappeared this season.
He's in the doghouse or something. Yeah.
He's in the dog. Well, his coach is a former Michigan coach, and he was at Michigan State. He's still McDonald is still probably really pissed from when they beat him in 2019. So he's probably still holding a grudge.
I don't think that these coaches carry those losses with them the way that you might.
You'd be surprised how petty Michigan can be. I'm telling you. You'd be surprised. And that's coming from a fan.
Yep. Moving on to let's do our top 5
Nope.
power rankings for this week. You
Brr.
want to start us off at number 5?
I will start us off at goddamn number 5. And at number 5, I'm going to have the Detroit Lions after last night.
Okay.
I can't keep them out of the top 5, especially after the performance that they put on last night. That defense didn't matter who was out there. They're playing hard and they're playing great and they're not getting beat. Jared Goff and St. Brown, you can never keep that connection down. Jameer Gibbs, Montgomery, Sonic and Knuckles, arguably the top running back duo. You know, you could put maybe I wouldn't even know who else you would want to put up there, but definitely I would think the top running back duo in the NFL. So, and then you got Jared Goff at QB, probably one of the most accurate guys in the league right now. Isn't really careless. Last night he was a little bit rough, but that team seems gelled right now, and I think that they're going to be the only ones that to stop themselves. Can't believe that cat just showed her ass. That was hilarious. Let's just take a break. Well, I see what she thinks of my top list so far.
Yeah, she's a descendant from the Lions. Yeah.
Yes, she is.
I do not have them at 5. At number 5, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that other people will say they have to be higher. They don't. They don't have to be higher than 5
Not yet, anyway.
because they're 4-3. And I know that they're one of the best teams in football, but they're going to have to show a little more for me to just put them ahead of these other teams because they came out sluggish. They came out not playing well. For anyone saying that Mahomes should be an MVP, he's had 4 games where he had 1 passing touchdown out of 7 games. 4 games, 1, and then the other 3, 3. I'm not going to sit here and just be like, oh, when he throws 3 touchdowns half the year, less than half the year, he's just the MVP. Like, he's in the running. I
He's
cannot just
definitely in the
say
running.
he's in this spot all by himself. That's just silly. They got Rashee Rice back, so they look like they're going to be awesome. I thought that from the beginning that they would be a lot better as soon as they got Rice back. They're good. Their defense is good, and they're going to be a major player. But when you lose 3 games, I have to it's power rankings. Like I'm not just gonna be like, well, I don't really care if they lose 7 games, they're still number 1. Like I'm not gonna do that. That's just silly. They're number 5 on
And
mine,
that's
and they
that's
continue to move up. If they keep winning, they'll keep moving up, right?
yeah, yep, 100%. You can't keep them out. They're definitely right now a top 5 team, regardless of what their record is.
Yeah, now they have a winning record.
You know it's going to happen. Yeah, they're on the plus side of 500 right now. They look better than they did in the first 3 weeks. Yeah, they're going to move up. They're going to move up in my rankings as well. You know, Mahomes is always going to be in there as an MVP candidate. He's kind of like LeBron. No matter what he does or doesn't do, he's going to be in the conversation no matter what.
He's like this generation's Manning or Brady.
Yeah.
If he misses a game and they and all this, man, he's still the MVP. Like, look how much worse the Chiefs are without him. Or if he plays and he has a bad game and they lose, and then he has 4 touchdowns and they crush somebody good, they're gonna always see the reason to pick him Mahomes because he's one of the best, if not the best QB. We get that. But I mean, they're 4-3. I mean, to sit here, Callum Cowherd has him number 1. That's fine, but you're not taking into credit what's happened this year. You're taking into credit what's happened the last 5. That's fine. Now, obviously, they're number 1 if you do that, but why are you doing that? Is this 2025's power rankings and hierarchy, or is it the 2020s? Come on now.
Yeah, we'll just call this the 2020s rankings overall, you know. And he's fine to do that. That's all well and good. You know, you're allowed to feel however you feel towards a certain way. If you have them number 1, okay, then you have them number 1, and you may be right at the end of the year. But as far as right now, I just think there's other teams that are playing better and have been more consistent.
Yeah, agreed. My number 4 would be the LA Rams.
And we agree.
I like the LA Rams. I think that what they did in London to the Jaguars, a team the Chiefs lost to, that mattered to me a lot. Without Puka Nacua, I really thought the Rams were going to struggle, and they really, really didn't. And I'm like, okay, Matt Stafford is playing some good football. He's starting to put himself in that kind of MVP conversation. He's starting to creep up into a top 5. he's there, and they're playing excellent. And we seen when Stafford plays well, the Rams, they made it to the Super Bowl. Like they're
Yeah.
real scenarios of not winning a championship usually has to do with how banged up Stafford is. If they keep him
Mhm.
healthy and upright, he's throwing the ball about as good as anybody in the league.
Yep. Yep. I'm convinced his 2025 is a clone. So they may have been onto something. That little iron lung they had in the practice facility.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have them at 4 as well. That was 5 touchdowns in London. That was impressive.
Yeah.
No rushing touchdowns for the Rams. That was hilarious, I thought.
That
But no Puka. You still throw 5 tuds. 3 of them were to Devontae, but yeah, how nice is that to have? All 3 tight ends, I think, caught at least 2 passes. So I mean, he was spreading the ball around pretty damn well, and to do that against the Jags defense that's been majorly improved this year and has been playing really,
yes.
really well. That says a lot for how potent they are on offense. So, and give credit to their defense as well. They allowed them to start with several short fields. So, yeah, I have the Rams at 4 also, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to really blow them out of the water.
Yeah.
So, I like where they're going.
Put it this way, the Rams were playing so well by halftime on offense that the people that were commentating the halftime show were talking about how the rookie Travis Hunter needs to play more defense because they're needing help on defense. And he
Yeah.
had a career day on offense. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's how crazy it was. That, hey, the two-way Travis Hunter having a career day on offense, we really need him to play defense today. And it's like he's a
Yeah.
rookie, and you think he's going to stop the Rams, but that's how much they needed help on that
No.
day in London because they were not able to stop anything the Rams were doing.
Yeah, and he did when he was on him. He played Devontae pretty well.
He did do pretty well,
So I
I
mean,
will admit.
he did okay, but it's like you wouldn't have been. You can't stop him all game. He's somebody that's going to get theirs whenever he's on the field. It doesn't matter how many yards he has. He's got a nose for the end zone. So yeah, he dominated him again.
Yep. Who's your number 3?
Number 3, and you may be mad, but that's where I have Kansas City. I have Kansas City at number 3. So yeah, they've been playing really, really good. A lot better since week 3 or 4. Ever since the Jacksonville loss, which it was a close loss, but ever since then they've been playing a lot better. The opponents have been tougher. They played damn good against the Lions. Asterisk here and there, but still got the win. And then I'm not going to sit here and blow them because they beat the Raiders the way that they did, but even then, it was a dominating performance. A team they should have beat, but you don't expect them to beat someone that bad.
Right.
That was historically bad. So, but you're always going to leave scratching your head. It's like, well, did Kansas City beat them or did the Raiders just play poorly? And we've seen more examples this year of the Raiders playing poorly than we have seen Kansas City dominate.
Right.
So, but both can be true at the same time. But I think, Kansas City did play them into playing poorly. So that has to take somewhat into consideration for why they looked as bad as they did. But if you're the Raiders, man, I think it's time to kind of move on and let Geno taste a little bit of pine and see what you have. Maybe make a move or something, or get somebody else out there because they're not a good team right now. So I didn't want to move Kansas City up too far just because it is the opponent that they played.
Yeah.
But I do think that they're better, and seeing how that offense looked with Rashee Rice coming back, Worthy looks healthy. Kelsey's him. He's doing what he's doing anyway. So, and Patrick looks like Patrick of old. So it's gonna be hard to get them out of the playoff picture, for the rest of the year. So I do have them at 3.
Yeah, and I think the Chiefs, honestly, with Mahomes, they kind of are playing a lot like some of those New England teams from the back in the day, where they trusted the scheme and the skill set of guys, and like they just get them the ball. 5 yards, get them the ball. And I think the Rams do a lot of that with Puka, and there's certain teams you're seeing that just getting your star players the ball is like a lot of what the quarterback needs to do, and then you need him to make a certain play at a certain moment on a 3rd and 8 or this or that where he gets out of the pocket and stuff. And that's why the Chiefs are ranked highly, because I think they do all of the short 10-yard intermediate stuff about as good as anybody. And getting a
Yeah.
Rashee Rice back, that's exactly what they did. They were throwing him in little gadget type plays and little just whoop, whoop, little double move and little 5-yard dump and stuff. They were just trying to get him the ball and get him going. And
Yeah.
his touchdown was a jet sweep where all Mahomes has to do is catch the ball and just let it
Flick it.
float for him to run by and grab. That counts as a passing touchdown. So
Yep.
there's an inflated stats because of their methodology of how they perform and how they come into a game planning wise. So they do it about as good as anybody, and they do all of the short stuff perfect, and it really pulls you in, and then they can hit you on a deep shot like the MVSs from back in the day and the Tyreek Hills and all those kinds. And I don't know who their deep guy is now, and I guess it would have to be a Worthy would be your deep guy. So that's a dangerous weapon when you still have Kelsey and all that. Yeah, Andy Reid, man, he's the next Belichick. He's going to go down as like the next guy. I mean, he was doing it before Belichick with the Eagles and Donovan McNabb, and now, I mean, he's going to go down as possibly like the Mount Rushmore of NFL coaches. They just got it going on.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's such a phenomenal coach.
Unbelievable.
Andy Reid's one of those guys I would run through a brick wall for.
Yes.
You know, even in Philly. Philly, he was awesome. You know, I was a big fan of his and watching the old McNabb teams and the Vic teams, you know, back when he was there. It was always fun to watch the Eagles, you know. So he had a lot of success there. You know, never won a title in Philly, but, you know, he had a lot of prestige on his name when he came to Kansas City, and he's done nothing but get better than from what he already was. So he's awesome. Their offense is going to be great now that they got Rice back. Everybody's where they need to be. You know, Rice is their clear one. You know, that would make Hollywood their 2. Worthy's probably their 3, and you could have Juju as a 4th. You know, and Kelsey's Kelsey. So they can give you a slow drip from any one of their guys, and that's what's the frustrating part is, okay, now that they have every piece that they're going to need, you have to plan for 5 or 6 different guys. Either any one of them can go off in any certain game, you know, and when you got 15 back here dishing it out like he can, it's going to be hard to stop. And you have to take him into consideration too, because he's running a lot more this year. Yeah. And usually he saves his legs for the playoffs, but he's running it a lot more now. So there's your opportunity to get shots in on him. So you want to kind of send messages to him. If he's going to take off, you get an opportunity to hit him, you better hit him, and you better make him feel it. That way he second guesses it, because you want him to beat you with his arm. You want to make him throw you, you know, throw it on you, not get a cheap 11-yard gain on, you know, cheap first downs here and there, because that's when they're going to kill you.
Yeah. And you have to wonder, too, with the injury to Kareem Hunt, the trade deadline's November 4th. I mean, they have the situation. They could get better at running back, too.
Yeah.
So we don't know who they would try to acquire, but they have time to acquire somebody, and they could
bring back Jerick McKinnon, huh?
Yeah. I mean, they're always whoever understands the scheme and the blocking. I mean, they might bring a Clyde Hilaire, whoever. I don't know. It just
goodness.
They could bring in a lot of different players and be serviceable. Leonard Fournette, you know.
Yeah, gross. That's disgusting.
That is disgusting. My number 3 is going to be the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, you cheap bastard.
And the reason I do that is because as great as we looked against the Chargers, the 2 teams that I have ahead of them, I think that they are still a little better in my mind. But we look awesome. I know we're 6-1. We have the best record in football. We're about to play the Titans for the second time. Like, it's important to note that our schedule was a little softer in the first half than it is in the second half. So we're going to have opportunities to ironically prove our record to teams and the NFL, basically all the fans and everything. So we're going to see what happens here coming up. I feel like we have a few good wins, and it looks like when we whoop the other teams and then we beat these teams, like it looks like we could beat just about any team as long as we played good football and everything. We didn't make mistakes, but the teams I had ahead of them, I just feel like they're just a little better, just barely. I mean, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah. No, what it is, I'll tell you what it is. You're being too damn humble is what you're doing. You're trying not to show off some bias.
If I say the Colts are the best, okay, then I have to answer questions like, what's the significant win? What's your signature win? Then we just picked it up. The beating we put on the Chargers would be the signature win. The second best win would be the last second field goal against Denver. We needed a penalty to get a second shot on. That's a little important. Who's the third best win? I don't really know. So honestly,
I would just say I would honestly
win,
put the comeback against the Cardinals. I mean, that was still a tough game.
the third
Yeah,
best
their
win.
record is shit,
The third best
but I
win,
mean, you got to
honestly.
look. You can look at now. You can look at this last week and see how good Arizona played against Green Bay.
But they're
It's
2 and
like, okay, they're not their record, yes, but it's kind of like the Giants. Do we discredit Denver's win against them? I don't, because the Giants are still a good team, but their record is 2-5.
But when you're
They're not going to
comparing
be an
them,
easy out.
Giants win. Giants beat the Eagles, but the Giants
Mm-hmm.
win for the Denver Broncos is not as good as their win against Philly because
No,
there's
no, no,
different
no.
stakes to it, right? So for
Yeah.
me, I'm looking at the stakes and I'm saying our best win of the season just came, and
Mm-hmm.
we're 6-1. And the other one's a penalty that we get another shot at because they were being stupid on it, and it was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
makeup call in my mind. But then the
Yeah.
third win is kind of like the loss to the Rams is almost the third win. The loss we
Yeah.
have is kind of
Yeah.
the like how well we played against the Rams, who I have on here.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
kind of like the third thing that signature wise gives you this feeling the
Mm-hmm.
Colts are good. And it's like in that context, I have other teams ahead of them because they
That's
just are
fair.
doing their best against their schedule, and like they have a little more to prove. I mean, that's just
Mm-hmm.
I'm credit
Yep.
to them for beating the Chargers. They got the win, that the best win of the year. So now they got to stack those. Like we just
Mm-hmm.
got to keep rolling. We're only not even halfway through. So
Yep. Yep.
that's my three. My
Sure.
number two is the Philadelphia Eagles, and I mean they're the champions, and the way they played with some attitude. They played like a little angry. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
how Detroit did Tampa last night. Philly did Minnesota the same way. They felt like they played with some grit, and
Mm-hmm.
I just Philly is good. So the Chiefs have 3 losses, and they're in the top 5. There are a whole bunch of 5-2 teams. For the Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of 5-2s, and they're 5-2. Well, I think they deserve to be towards the top of the list. Just because there's one 6-1 team doesn't mean they have to be below them. I'm looking at your record. I'm looking at who you've played, and for me, the Eagles and the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl last year. Chiefs were like 15-1 last year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they should be. They have more ground on losses. Like if they're sitting next to a team with 2 losses and they have 3, well then Chiefs and them are at least side by side. Well, the same thing goes for the Eagles. To me, they're at least side by side or slightly ahead with 2
Mm-hmm.
losses. Like yeah, we have 1 and they have 2, but that's how much better they could be compared to us, especially to start the year. We were like the 25th best team at best. So we
Yeah.
have made a lot of ground up. The Eagles are still formidable, and they still are a Super Bowl threat in the NFC for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And don't forget their 2 losses came in a 5-day span.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they were the first loss against Denver was kind of a choke loss.
Yes.
They did kind of shit the bed a little bit. Their second loss against the Giants was just a pathetic attempt at playing a game,
Yeah.
and they looked bad. And I mean, they looked like a bad team. And going back to what we were saying about Denver, is the Giants win a good win? Yeah, it's a good win, but and then but if you don't think that's a good win, then you have to turn around and say that that's a bad loss.
For Philly.
So yeah. So I mean, I did take that in consideration. I also have Philly at 2
Okay.
because what they did to Minnesota shows what they can do, on defense to have as many turnovers as they forced. They made Wentz look pedestrian, and to be able to do that with no running game, but they're not running the ball right now. They can't. It just seems like they can't. So you got to kind of look at that and say, okay, is their running back room healthy? Is Saquon fighting something? Is something going on there? And like we talked about it last night, do you just need to give him a couple games to get right, to rest his legs, to get, work on his ankles, his knees, give him a little bit of extra therapy here and there for whatever's ailing him. And if nothing's ailing him, then just give him some rest. That way you have him for the cold games and the games where you're going to need to run the ball to win. So, but just the fact that they destroyed Minnesota like they did, and I know the score was actually closer than what that game actually was, but to see how him and Devontae Smith and AJ Brown, he was distributing, and they
Yeah.
were able to move the ball at will through the air almost. So if they're doing that, and you still have a Saquon Barkley in your back pocket to throw out, yeah, you're a damn good team if you're finding ways to win. If you have arguably who should have been the MVP last year in your back pocket, yeah. So I have Philly at 2 as well.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and say my number one, and
Mm-hmm.
then I think I know where you might be going. We'll see.
Oh,
My
you know
number
where I'm
one
going.
team is the Detroit Lions. I don't necessarily
Oof.
care that they lost to the Chiefs, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
necessarily care that they lost to the Packers week one. They are pound for pound, I think, the most talented roster in the league. I know Philly is right there with them. That's why I have them at 2. I think that the trick plays the Lions have, the way the Eagles can do their tush push and trick play off of it, I think that that just sets them apart. And I just like the Lions a little bit better because their defense is healthy. And I know how they did last year when they were injured. And I
Yeah.
look at the way they played. I'm like, if they're healthy, then maybe they could have beat the Eagles last year. They didn't have Aiden Hutchinson. If they could
Yeah.
have, maybe they could have beat the Commanders and got the chance to beat the Eagles because they also didn't even get a chance. So I look at that and I think that the Detroit Lions, yeah, you lose a tough one to Kansas City Sunday Night Football. They played good. You didn't play as well. You're playing Kansas City. Like you said, the Eagles' losses, the Giants aren't the Chiefs, right? And
Mm-hmm.
the Broncos aren't the Chiefs, in my opinion. So for the Lions to take a loss to the Chiefs in that one week one blunder, I just look at their comparative games and I'm like, I'm more impressed with the Lions. That's the team I'm most impressed
Yeah.
with right now. So I have them.
Yeah. And they just
They just beat
beat the
Tampa.
shit out of, you could argue, was the hottest team in the league.
They
And
were
they
tied
made
for the
they
best
made them
record,
look
right?
bad.
Them and the
Yeah.
Colts were had the best record, so I was
And they made them
impressed.
look bad. Yeah. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I can't put them at 1. I can't put them at the best as the best team right now, but I'm not going to argue too much against it
Mm-hmm.
just because, I know what I saw last night. And I saw arguably the best team, the
Mm-hmm.
best unit, you
Yes.
know, uh, the most bonded team, and it seemed like they have that bond, and they're playing. That's you can definitely tell they have Dan Campbell's personality in them too.
Mm-hmm.
So that is an overall team. So I can't argue with you having them at 1. If you take records out, then I would be all for it. But yeah, I have them at 5 for that reason,
Did you
just
feel
because they have
compelled?
had some bad looking plays here as of late too.
Did you feel compelled to put them below the Chiefs because of their loss to them? Like, is that part of it, kind of for you? You're like,
That's
well,
part of it.
I kind
That
of
is part of
think the
it.
Chiefs should be ranked ahead of them because of that too. I thought
Yeah, they
that, and I
probably
was just like,
they should have. I do think, but I think, like I said earlier, I think Detroit was going to beat whoever was put in front of them last night. It
right,
could have been a back to back home and home meeting with the Chiefs back to back weeks, and
yeah.
I think they beat Kansas City last night too. But
That's why I put Detroit ahead for that reasoning. Yeah,
yeah, but that being said, they did lose the game that counted. So that's why I have KC up a little bit higher, because KC managed that defense. You know what I mean? They put points up on them, and they did stifle their offense. So
yeah,
I had to have them a little bit higher, but I can't argue with them. You having them at 1, because I do agree, like they are the number one just unit. They
yeah.
just seem like they all have the same goals in mind, and they all are on the same page as far as knowing where everybody's going to be on the field.
Yeah. The chemistry on defense, similar to the Eagles, similar to the Colts, the Rams, the Chiefs, right? There's chemistry on defense, but the chemistry on offense, Philly has their running back problem now, like suddenly they can't run the ball. The Colts are
Mm-hmm.
still just new to the party, so I'm waiting to see more. The Rams, I mean, I could have put them higher based off of how they played, but
Yeah.
I've seen them have some issue, and the Kansas City, I've seen some issue. For me, the Lions, I'm just like, even in a bad game, they looked really good, so that's why I put them The way they can run the ball, the way they can throw the ball, the weapons they have, it just feels like there's no flaw in offense.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm waiting though. If, we can bookmark this, but if the Colts end up going, the Colts are to win the title this year. I want the name of their like season review DVD to the 2025-2026 Indianapolis Colts. Waiting to see more. That's just, it seems like it's every week. That's what everybody says. It's like, oh, I like what I see. I like what I see. It's like, oh, they played great. But I still would want to see more before I think that they're a top team in the league.
You're
But that's
becoming
not just you
frustrated with
saying.
the apprehension.
It's not frustration. It's just, why can't you admit that they're a good team? You can't admit that they're a top 3 or 4 team in the league right now. So I mean, a lot of people still have them outside. I can't do that anymore. And that's why I have them at 1. Fuck being humble. Fuck being humble. I'm not doing it anymore. I know what my eyes are seeing. My eyes are seeing one team, one goal. They're doing it for Jim. I can't sit here and just be like, all right, I'm going to try to be nice and be the unbiased person. I can't do that anymore. They're 6-1. We're beating everybody we're supposed to beating them handily. Outside, the closest game that we've had was Denver, but outside of Denver, it was the Arizona game. And I think that, looking back at that and looking how Arizona does look good, and they have looked good with Jacoby under center.
They're just
They
not
haven't they haven't
games.
lost anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, they had the lead on the Packers in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they're not finishing
So
yet.
yeah,
Exactly.
and Green Bay. Let's not forget, Green Bay's only got 1 loss, but they're
Green Bay
both
had
out.
a
They're out, but they're outside of both of our top 5. For what
yes.
reason?
Doesn't it feel like
It's
Green Bay?
that
Doesn't it feel like they have 2 or 3 losses though?
it seems like they had that Dallas game. Seems like a loss to me,
It does.
because they should have just obliterated Dallas, but they let them hang around
Hey, if
and
Dallas
they
had
let
a
them back in it.
if Dallas had a better defense, we would have them in the top 5 because they look
They
that
would they
damn
would
good
be
on
up there
offense.
too. Their offense is amazing. But I'm looking at, at Indy here. Our defense needs a little bit of work in the passing game, but our running defense has been sharp.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to jump on them too much about all the passing yards they gave up this last week, because every time the Chargers scored, we took possession and we scored.
Yes.
So the defense, we were able to just be like, all right, boys, go have at him, go get Herbert. And we were rushing every single play.
Yep.
And if you rush too much and you get tired, you're going to get burned a little bit. So I wasn't too worried about it, to be honest, because we were up by 14 almost the entire game. So yeah, I'm gonna have us at 1. Tired of pretending that we're not the best team right now, because we are. I don't give a shit that we've played. This will be the second time we played Tennessee.
Yeah.
Get them out of the way. Get them out of the way, because then we got Pittsburgh after that. Then we got the Falcons in Germany, and then we get our bye. And our last sets of games is a tough schedule. When we have Kansas City, we got San Fran, Seattle, Jacksonville, and Houston both twice.
Yep.
So it's going
We'll
to
be
be a tough
playing.
stretch.
We're
And
gonna
our
have a
bye
much
week,
tougher second.
doesn't it? And doesn't it seem like our bye week always comes at the perfect time almost every single year? You get a week off
We've complained about our buys. There's been a few times that
sometimes,
we've had one way too early, or we've had one
way
way too
early.
late.
Yeah, but we've been getting them late in the season as of late, and I've liked it. But to get a bye week right before you play Kansas City, that's going to be helpful. And then you got Jacksonville, Houston, San Fran, I think then Jacksonville or Seattle, and then Jacksonville again, and then Houston to end the year. It's like, well, let's see what we got. It's going to be a big test. That last half of the season is going to be massive. But
Yes.
as long as we can keep this momentum and we can keep mistakes down, I think we've shown that if we can play mistake-free football, we are going to have an opportunity to win every single game.
And I think about it too. Lucas Oil Stadium, they would love to host them some playoff games.
Oh yeah, I think we're going to host a couple.
How long has it been since the AFC came through Lucas Oil?
Too long.
That would be a beautiful thing. Instead of the
Would be a
Arrowhead
beautiful thing.
Invitational, to just be like, okay, the number 1 seed, Lucas
Yeah,
Oil. I
It
would
would be
actually
nice.
worry a little about the. I always worry about the bye. I always have.
Yeah,
Always.
I
I
don't
almost
like
like
playoff
rather be
buys.
the two. Like I
Yeah,
don't know why, but yeah, I love me some
yep,
Colts for sure. I said number three. I get it. I get why you're putting them one. They have the best record in football.
yep,
They have the best
yep.
record.
Nobody's been able to keep us from scoring.
Yeah, I mean
Our
I think
offense,
we
it's like '04 all over again. '06. It's like those teams
we're just
where it's like
balanced. We're really balanced.
anytime, yeah, you start a drive, it doesn't matter if we're starting at the 10 or the 20. You feel like we're about to go down and put points on the board every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I did see the stat earlier that the Colts are scoring on 63% of their drives. That is insane. That is insane.
Yeah,
Especially for us, going through the shit that we've gone through in the last 6 7 years, it's finally nice to have a little bit of stability and consistency. When we're not going through, a rookie going through progressions and mistakes and veterans losing their legs and their minds and both ankles on one play. We're not running into those issues. And Daniel Jones is having an out of his goddamn mind season,
yeah,
and you can't help but just look at it in awe. It's like, okay, are you going to stop Jonathan Taylor? Then Daniel Jones is going to beat you. He's going to throw it to the right guy every single time.
yeah,
Are you going to play pass defense? Well, then Jonathan Taylor's going to run for $150 on you.
yeah,
So 3 games with 3 touchdowns. Holy shit. If it's like you can pick, you're going to have to pick your poison when you play the Colts. Are you going to play Are you going to play back so they can't beat you deep and then we can just dunk and dime on you all day long and
mm-hmm.
run some Taylor up your ass? Or are you going to try to rush and try to hold the running game back? You can't do both. And if you're going to have to try, you can try, but I don't think you're going to be able to do both. And I mean, like the best example so far has been Denver, and we still put 29 on them. So, I like what they've been doing, what they've been able to do, and I'm going by the eye test here. It's not just because I'm a fan and there's a biased perspective here. I'm watching every single game and I'm watching who we're playing, and you can just see the frustration on the other team. It's like, what do we do? Yeah, how many times do we see my favorite coach on this planet, Jim Harbaugh, just put his hands on his knees and look down to the ground? Like, what can we do? What are we not doing? They're just every single time they're getting exactly what they need.
Yeah.
So it's like you can run into that problem where you just can't stop it. You can try, but you can't.
I get it. It's been good to be a Colts fan, that's for sure. All right. I think that does our show for the Monday Night Football, the top fives. Thanks for watching, and we'll be releasing other segments. Let us know in the comments section below what kind of stuff you're actually wanting to see, and we'll get working on it. Until then, see you.